Hey, I'm your host, Jen Wheeler, and this is the Healthy Her podcast. I'm a teacher, author, and foodie who went from being addicted to sugar, skipping meals, and struggling to get in control of my eating, to someone who is 10 kilos down, eats all the yummy foods without restriction, and is finally in control of my hunger. I'm obsessed with helping other health-conscious women ditch the confusion and overwhelm so they can cultivate healthy eating habits and truly thrive. The Healthy Her podcast was created to give you real talk about healthy eating, as well as easy, actionable tips that fit seamlessly into your busy lifestyle. I'm not just your host. Think of me as your healthy eating hype gal, your personal cheerleader as we chat all things healthy eating, weight loss, and mindset mastery, so you can become the healthiest, happiest version of you. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, reclaim your confidence, and unlock the very best version of you, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Her podcast. Now, I know that a brand new podcast episode drops every Tuesday, but we are still super close to the weekend. So this podcast episode is still going to be super relevant for you because today I'm going to be talking to you all about weekend overeating recovery and how to reset without the guilt and get back on track fast. Now, I've been there and I'm sure you've been there too. Like Monday to Friday, you're actually pretty good. You will go to the gym, you eat your protein, like you just tend to take better care of yourself during the week. So Monday to Friday, you're usually really good and you do the things that you're supposed to do. You're working towards your goals, you're smashing your workouts, you're doing all of the things. And then the weekend rolls around and what happens? Everything starts to fall off track. Routine's out the window, you're out with friends, you might have kids' sport, you might have slept in, so you're having a late breakfast. So it's really common for women to struggle on the weekends, to have that consistency and to be committed during the week, that Monday to Friday. But then when the weekend rolls around, everything starts to fall apart and they just completely fall off track. And then that guilt kicks in and they start that cycle all over again. So it's Monday to Friday, perfect eating. Then a weekend is just YOLO, eat whatever, do whatever, no structure, no routine. And then the guilt trip kicks in on the Sunday night and they're back into that trap again of starting again every single Monday. And to be in that position, like it's honestly just the worst place to be in because you just get stuck in this cycle. It's, well, I eat well and then I fall apart on the weekend and you start to erode away at your self-confidence and your ability to take care of yourself. And that's why it's really important that you understand why this is happening and exactly what you need to do to get out of it after the weekend. Because like I said, otherwise you just stay stuck in this cycle. And like I said, then over time, your self-confidence and your ability to know that you can do this, that you can stick to your goals, that you can lose weight, that you can eat healthy consistently, just starts to slowly get chipped away at until eventually it's like Friday, Saturday comes around again and you're like, oh, well, never mind, this is just what I do and I'll just start again on Monday. And it just becomes a really uncomfortable pattern. Now, as something that I always talk about a lot on this podcast is knowledge is power. So the more that you understand why something is happening, the easier it is to change. And I know that was so true for me. I have done this many times, where I probably wouldn't have been perfect for the whole week, but I'd say mine was probably more, I could probably go 3 or 4 days. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday would usually be pretty good. And then like Thursday, the wheels would start to come off and that's when things started to fall apart, Thursday, Friday. And then it would just obviously just roll on into the weekend. And I would just guilt myself. What is wrong with me? I'm a failure. Why can't I stick with this? Like, I feel gross because I'd overeaten and I'd just eaten everything in sight. And the more that you understand why these things are happening, the more you will become aware of them and the more that you can stop doing them. Okay. It's just that we don't understand as women. And no one has sat us down and said, hey, do you know, actually there's a reason behind why you actually eat really well during the week and eat really bad on the weekend. I have a saying, and I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. There is a reason behind every food choice that you make. And that is the honest truth. Every single food choice that you are making, there is a reason behind it. It's either that you're tired, that you didn't eat enough protein, that you haven't had enough calories throughout the day. Like there's always a reason behind the food choices that you're making. And once you can connect the reason to why you're eating that food, it's like this light bulb moment goes off in your head and you're like, oh, okay. And over time, you really start to get a really good understanding about yourself, about your body, about how you eat, about what makes you feel good. And that's a really good place to be in. Okay, so let's start by, I want to explain to you why this happens, why we eat really well for, like I said, you might be 5 days and then it's the weekend, or you might be more like me where you could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then things started to fall apart on Thursday and Friday. So why does this happen? Okay, the first reason, so number one, why this happens is because you've eaten really perfectly or really restrictively during the week. Okay, so what I mean by that is you have been perfect, bang on perfect for a couple of days, for multiple days during the week. So when I say perfect, super clean, you're not having any sugar, you're not having any like desserts and chocolate treats, and like you are just being really perfect and quite restrictive. So, not if you're really, it's a Tuesday for dinner and you're really craving a burger, instead of having that burger for dinner, you're having your chicken, your rice and broccoli because you think that's a better option for you to eat to help you lose weight. Like you're being really perfect and restrictive during the week, not having treats, no wine, no chocolate, no dessert. Like I said, anything you're craving, you're just not having it. So that is one of the reasons why you fall off track on the weekends, because you are too restrictive during the week. Number two is that during that Monday to Friday period, you have ignored your cravings all week because, and I'm using little finger quotation marks here, you've ignored those cravings all week because you are trying to be good. Okay, we've all done it. We're like, I'm going to try and be good. Okay, so you go without. Okay, like I said, it could be the burger thing. It's Tuesday night and like you just had a hell of a day at work and the kids are driving you crazy and you really just feel like a burger. And then so Tuesday, you don't have that burger that you are craving because, again, finger quotation marks, you're trying to be good. So you don't have the thing that you crave. So ignoring your cravings for 5 days a week from Monday to Friday is what is leading to this sort of YOLO and eat whatever you like on the weekends, okay? Because cravings are not something that should be demonized. And I know I did this too. It's, well, I'm a bad person and I'm weak because I'm craving a piece of cake, or because I'm craving a burger, or because I'm craving a packet of like salty chips. No, cravings are just a really normal part of being a human being. But I know, like I said, as women, that we just demonize having a craving as this awful, horrible thing that's going to make us gain 5 kilos in 5 minutes. And it just doesn't at all. So ignoring those cravings during the week is leading to you not being in control on the weekends. Okay, number 3, you've said no to things during that Monday to Friday period that you've actually wanted. So let's say you are at work and someone is having a birthday. And so they've brought in this amazing triple chocolate, like cheesecake with this like cookie crumble on the top. And you are just eyeing this thing off and going, oh my, that just looks so good. And I so want to have a piece of that. And so someone cuts you a slice and hands it to you at work and says, oh, hey, here, would you like some of my like birthday cheesecake? And you say no. You really wanted that piece of cheesecake, but you say no. So again, it's similar to the cravings thing. When you say no to the things that you actually want, okay, it's going to lead to restriction later on, okay? Now, there is no reason that you couldn't have had a slice of cheesecake and incorporated that into your healthy day of eating. You didn't have to have the bigger slice. You could have a small piece and incorporate that into your calories if you're tracking your food or whatever it is. But saying no when you really want to have something like that or you're really craving that thing is leading to you not being in control on the weekends. Okay, number 4, and this one is really important. Monday to Friday, you have routine and structure, and this helps to keep you focused. Okay, so Monday to Fridays, for most people, tend to have more of a routine and more of a structure than the weekend. Okay, so you tend to get up at the same time. You might have work that you're going to. Even if you're a stay-at-home mum, you're still going to have that structure and that routine around your children and their sleep habits. And they might go to a play group or a mother's group or something like that, or some swimming lessons. It's still that structure and routine that you have in your day, Monday to Friday. Now, having that structure is helping what's keeping you focused. Okay, because we do tend to have breakfast at the same time, lunch at the same time, dinner around the same time. Like Monday to Friday, the routine generally stays roughly the same. Okay, like I said, there might be a few things that come up, but it's generally the same. And that structure and that routine is what keeps you focused with your healthy eating and with your exercise. Okay, so the problem is Saturday and Sunday come around and there's no structure. There might be a sleep in, there might be a social outing, you might have kids' sport, you might be catching up with friends. Now, and that's the problem with the Saturday and Sundays, because there's no structure there. It gives you the opportunity to just go, oh, well, I just won't worry about it because there's no routine, and to throw things out the window. Okay. And also too, because on the weekend there is that lack of routine, it changes and can throw off your eating habits and your exercise behaviors. Okay. So if Monday to Friday, you would normally get up and go to the gym and have a healthy breakfast, and then on Saturday you sleep in. So then you're having breakfast later, and then you might be snacking after that because you had a later breakfast, and it has this sort of knock-on effect. So it's really important to understand that quite often it is easier to stick to some sort of a routine, whether that's perfect or not, but some sort of a routine Monday to Friday, because there is that predictability and those structures in place to keep you on track. Now, here's the important part that we all want to know. So we've worked out how this happens. Okay. So I'm hoping that by you listening to that you've kind of gone, oh, okay, yeah, I can relate to those things, and I'm going to maybe stop the guilt and the beating myself up and the feeling bad. And I'm going to make an effort to try and get myself out of this cycle that I'm stuck in and having to always recover from a really bad weekend of overeating. So how do you get back on track when you've had a really bad weekend, a big blowout, a weekend of overeating, you've been off track, you've had no routine? How do you get back on track? Okay, tip number 1, I want you to start seeing your week as a whole. Okay, now I was guilty of this too. So I would always sort of compartmentalize my week. So I always saw Monday to Friday as a different part to the weekend. Now, obviously it is, because Monday to Friday is usually work days and Saturday and Sunday is the weekend, but I would never see them as a whole. I always just saw the Monday to Friday is separate to Saturday and Sunday, with the way that I ate, with the way that I exercised, with the way that I looked after myself, with the way that I showed up for myself. So one simple thing that you can do is to start seeing your week as a whole. Okay, so stop looking as two separate pieces. So I'll eat really well Monday to Friday, and then the weekends I won't do anything. Okay, so start looking at your Monday as the same as a Sunday, okay, or your Wednesday the same as a Saturday. Okay. And I'm going to go into this a bit more. So I'm not suggesting like doing exactly the same things. I'm just talking about just to start looking at your week as just 7 days. Okay. Not Monday to Friday and then Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Tip number 2. This is so important. You have to ditch the guilt, because it will just eat you up. You have to let it go. Okay. That is a huge thing. And it is a huge thing that I teach and I work on with our Healthy Eating Hype Gal members. If you are new here, that is my monthly membership, and it's got literally everything in there that you need in order to lose weight successfully and keep it off. Okay, so in that membership, I teach the women to ditch the guilt and let it go. The truth is that you have probably wasted, I'd say, hours, months, maybe years, feeling guilty after you've had a weekend of overeating, and you've wasted so much more time feeling the guilt rather than actually taking the action needed to move yourself forward. We waste so much time stuck in that food guilt. Like I said, it's probably like hours, even years that you've wasted stuck in this trap and this guilt trap of, oh, well, I've eaten really bad on the weekend, so I'm going to feel guilty for the next 3 months, and then I'll just try again here and there. And when all you need to do is go, you know what?
Hello, my name is Clem, and I have lost 10.5 kilos in total, which is so exciting. I am a member of the Healthy Hype Gal membership, and I have absolutely loved every minute. I cannot tell you how much this program has changed my life. Jen is amazing. All of the girls in the community are amazing. It is just incredible. And I am so grateful for everything that it has offered.
Sunday night, okay, this weekend wasn't great. I didn't really take very good care of myself. It is what it is. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let the guilt go. The past is done. There's no point in stressing about it. And what matters now is what I do from here. That is why, as women, we stay stuck. That is why we stay stuck for so long in this, I can't lose weight. Nothing's working. You try the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It's because every time we fall off track or things aren't perfect, we quit. Okay? You quitting on yourself every time you have a weekend blowout is your downfall. Okay? So it's really important that you just ditch the guilt, you let it go. It's in the past. Move on and go, right, tomorrow's Monday. What am I going to do today to start taking better care of myself? It is so important to just not waste all that time in that guilt trap and just get over it and just move on and start taking better care of yourself. Okay. Number 3, take some action. It's back to number 2, like these sort of 2 points interrelate together. You have to take the action. Don't waste your time thinking about what you're going to do. Okay, so it's Sunday night and then Monday morning started and it's into Tuesday, and this is the Tuesday that the podcast drops. So you might be listening to this on a Tuesday and you're kind of like, ugh, had a really bad weekend of overeating. Monday just continued, didn't really do anything. It's now Tuesday. Kind of had a healthy breakfast, but I'm not really trying that hard. Stop wasting the time just thinking about, oh, I better start something now. Okay, no, well, it's Wednesday tomorrow, so I'll start something then. Take the action. A small piece of messy, imperfect action is always going to be better than you sitting there thinking about doing something. We as women just waste so much time thinking about doing the thing, thinking about going to the gym, thinking about doing some meal prep, okay? Thinking about tracking our food. We just waste all this time thinking when all that time could literally be used taking some action. So number 3, just take some action. Like I said, let the guilt go and just start taking some action. And that can be go for a walk, make a healthy breakfast, plan out your dinners for the next couple of days. There's always something that you can do, and action creates momentum, which creates consistency. And that consistency and that ease is what you are truly looking for. Tip number 4, I want you to take back your control. Okay. So it's a Sunday, like I said, Friday night might have not been that great. Saturday was just YOLO. You ate all the things, no restriction, just ate whatever you felt like, didn't do any exercise, feeling pretty sluggish. Sunday lunchtime comes around, take back your control. So ask yourself, what can I do to set myself up for success this week? That's it. Okay. And if you need a really simple routine to set yourself up for a successful week that's under 30 minutes, you can go back and listen to my previous episode. I have a full episode on how you can reset your week in under 30 minutes. And it has been super popular. Like I've had so many tags and messages about the reset and how it's really helped them to focus and get organized for the new week. So definitely recommend going back and listening to that one. So just ask yourself, what can you do on the Sunday? So instead of, again, like we talked about before, instead of sitting in that guilt trap, instead of wasting all that time thinking about what you're going to do, ask yourself, take back the control. What am I going to do to reset myself up for success this week? Are you going to meal prep a high protein breakfast that you've got on Monday morning? Are you going to fill up your water bottle and maybe set like a little reminder on your phone to drink some water every couple of hours? Are you going to lay out your gym clothes so that they're ready to go in the morning? Think about what you can do to set yourself up for success, because I promise you, having a bad weekend of overeating and then just sitting in a guilt trap and doing nothing and just thinking about doing nothing is going to get you nowhere. And it is just going to leave you feeling overwhelmed, confused, and stuck, and like just wasting so much time beating yourself up when you don't have to. Okay, number 5. I did talk about this before, but I want you to change the way you look at your week. So we said, look, instead of looking at Monday to Friday, it's Monday to Sunday. So Saturday and Sunday are included in your week. So how do we change this? Okay, I want you to see Saturday and Sunday as normal days in your week. Okay, now this is the mindset that we get stuck in as women. We have this thing that like, oh, well, okay, it's Saturday and Sunday, so I just eat whatever and I have no routine and I have no structure. I do no exercise. I do none of the healthy habits that I did during the week that I knew were going to make me feel really good. And we just drop everything on the weekend. I have a saying, do both. We have to get out of this mindset as women that it's all or nothing. It's one or the other. Okay. It's we do everything or we do nothing at all. Why can't you do both? And this was a big game changer for me because I was the same. The weekend would roll around and I just would eat whatever. I'm like, it's the weekend. It's almost our brains, we go, yeah, it's the weekend. Calories don't count. Like we just get into this mindset of, oh, well, deal with that later. Calories don't count and how I eat really doesn't matter and how I'm going to feel. And it just doesn't matter because it's the weekend. So I want you to start thinking, do both. Okay, when the weekend rolls around, I want you to think of little Jen in your head, that voice in your head that's going, hang on a second. Jen said I can do both. So what that means is on a Saturday morning, can you still start your Saturday morning with a high protein breakfast? Yes, absolutely. That is a super simple thing that you can still do. Okay, start your Saturday morning with a high protein breakfast because I talk about this all the time. How you start your day sets the tone for the rest of it. Okay, if you start your Saturday morning with a piece of peanut butter toast and not much else, you are going to be hungry an hour later. And then you're going to spend the rest of the day trying to fill yourself up. If you start your Saturday and your Sunday with a high protein breakfast, that is going to start your weekend off in a successful way. You are going to feel fuller. You are going to feel more in control and you are going to be able to make better food choices for yourself. So that's a really easy one. And that's not going to affect your weekend. Okay. It's not going to change you having a good time. Okay. So start your day with a high protein breakfast. Okay. But I've started my day, Jen, with a high protein breakfast, but I'm catching up with some girlfriends later and we're going out for dinner. That's okay. Do both. It's this mindset that we are constantly stuck in. You can eat your high protein breakfast on a Saturday and you can still go out and have dinner and wine and cocktails with your girlfriends on a Saturday night. It is completely okay because remember, you can do both. Okay, you can do both. You can have a high protein breakfast and you can still go out on the weekend. Okay, it's getting out of this mindset that the weekends are completely different from Monday to Friday and we don't do anything at all to fuel our bodies well or anything at all to take care of ourselves and that we just do nothing. You can do both. Same thing. Monday to Friday might be when you're really into your Pilates and your gym and all that kind of stuff. So can you just go for a 20-minute walk on the weekend? Can you take your dog for a walk around the park? Or can you go outside and kick the soccer ball with your kids? There are things that you can do where you're still doing both. And so it's not one or the other. Okay. And also too on that with looking at your week as a whole. So Monday to Sunday, Monday to Friday, you need to include some of what you crave. So do not wait until the weekend to enjoy something that you want. Okay, Monday to Friday, again, and I teach the girls in this in the Hype Girl membership. It's why the meal plans have dessert every single night is actually included on the meal plan because it's taking away that all or nothing mindset and that restrictive mindset towards food. So on Monday to Friday, don't try and be perfect. Okay, don't try and be super good. Incorporate some of what you're craving into your week. So whether you love chocolate, whether you love chips, whether you love wine, whether you love like crackers and dip and cheese and those kind of things, incorporate some of what you love and what you crave into your week. And what this will do is it will stop you overeating on those things over the weekend because when the weekend comes, you won't feel like, oh, well, I've literally eaten steamed broccoli, rice and chicken for 5 days. So I'm just craving anything that's got taste and flavor. So I'm just going to eat anything. It will stop you from doing that. So it's really important that you slowly start incorporating some of the foods that you crave into your Monday to Friday because it will really help with that overeating and that sort of blowout mindset that we get stuck into on the weekend. So there are some super simple tips that you can literally start implementing today on how you can take back your control after a weekend blowout, after a weekend of overeating. It is all about ditching the all or nothing perfect during the week. Please stop trying to eat perfectly and good and have no sugar and don't eat any bread and like all these things that you want to eat. Please stop restricting yourself Monday to Friday because that is going to keep you stuck in the cycle. You have to find ways, like I said, to start seeing your week as a whole, your Monday to Sunday as a whole, and look at it like I get to do both. Okay, so this is my Saturday. Can I maybe have my lunch at the same time that I would normally have like during the week? Try and just add in some of that little routine. And it doesn't mean, like I said, don't get in this trap of thinking, oh, well, that now means I have to do Saturday and Sunday perfectly. No, you don't. You can still do some of those healthy habits that you do during the week that make you feel good, and you can incorporate them into your weekend and still have an amazing weekend and still lay on the couch and still spend time with friends and still watch movies or go out or do all the things that you love. You get to do both. Okay. And starting to change the way that you look at this will start to free your mind from all of that food noise. Okay. Because you'll be stuck out of this Monday to Friday trap and then the weekend blowout trap. Okay. The food noise will start to lift and it will start to allow some balance into your weekdays and weekends. You'll feel more in control and you'll be so much more less likely to have a blowout on the weekends. So incorporate what you crave, be less restrictive, and have some of those healthy habits and those things that you do during the week, do them on the weekend as well. Don't do nothing, just do some of them and do both. Incorporate all those other things that you love to do on the weekend as well. I hope you loved today's episode and it gave you lots and lots of practical tips. I always just want to remind you that, if you are stuck in this cycle of that weekend overeating and then you feel guilty on Monday, there is a way out of it. You just have to become aware of what you're doing. And like I said, start incorporating some of these super simple tips into your routine. If you are sick of yo-yo dieting and you are wanting to finally get unstuck and start seeing some results, you can join my program, the Healthy Eating Hype Gal members. Within 7 days, you get exclusive access to my diet audit. So within 7 days, you will know exactly where you have been going wrong, why what you've been doing hasn't working. You'll have a calorie deficit for success. You'll have all of the yummy food, the support, the ongoing mindset work, everything that you need so that you can finally achieve success and so that you can stop quitting on yourself. So if you'd like to learn more about that and join, you can head to my website, theactivebod.com. And I know that myself and all of our incredible Hype Gal members will be super excited for you to join us and to start your journey with us. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I'll see you all in our next episode of The Healthy Her. Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Healthy Her podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat and found it helpful, hitting that follow or subscribe button would be amazing because your support means the world to me. Come connect with me on Instagram @theactivebod for your daily dose of inspiration and for loads of new easy meal ideas. Take care and keep thriving. See you next week.